I'm Mimi. Welcome to my channel. Ghosts of weights gone by. This will mean something different to each of us, and this is my Halloween edition update. First of all, let's get right on with my news from this week. This was my 6th week on 7.5 and my 13th week on Mounjaro altogether. 13, unlucky for some, but it was lucky for me because I lost 1.5 pounds. I am now 19.5 pounds down and couldn't be happier. This is very good news, and I'm very happy that I lost this week. As you may recall, last week my weight stayed the same for the first time. So I'm back on track with the weight loss and it's going well. Side effects haven't been too bad. The lethargy, I didn't really feel so much. So, you know, perhaps my body's getting used to whatever it was that was triggering my tiredness for the first couple of days. My reaction at the injection site is a bit better as well. So that has not really bothered me. I'm very happy with that. The only other piece of news I have really from this week is that my husband went to see his doctor yesterday and came back with a sample of Mounjaro. So we are going to be his and hers Mounjaro team, and I, of course, can give him lots of advice. I've told him that there's some great videos online that he can watch if he wants to get an idea of what being on Mounjaro is like. I will, at some point, share his story as to why he's got Mounjaro, but I actually haven't asked him if he's comfortable with me doing that yet. So I will probably be sharing that at some point in the future, and I'm going to try and get him on one of my videos. Maybe he will have, be able to share his experience as well. That's really my big news. Now on to the topic of the day, the Halloween topic, our ghosts. I was actually going to cover this anyway. I probably wouldn't have used the word ghosts because, I wasn't intending on making it a Halloween thing, but Halloween is a fun holiday, so I've decided to just roll with it today. The reason I was actually going to cover, the idea of our past weights is that the weight I am now is the weight I achieved in 2020 when I was doing Noom. And I thought about it, and I thought over the years, I have got quite a lot of these points, quite a lot of these little weight stories where I achieved something and I look back on it and I think, well, why didn't I just continue? What went wrong? Why did I get so far with the weight loss and then stop and it carried back on again? And in a sense, that's why Mounjaro feels so much different from any other weight loss exercise I've done in the past, because it feels consistent and sustainable. Sustainable as long as you've got the medication. My 2020 story with Noom is that, it was lockdown. We were living very different lives, and I decided to try and diet. It dawned on me that my weight is just going to rocket if I don't try something. So perhaps I should be grateful that I managed to get the weight to come down a bit, even though it eventually went back on. But the weight loss then finished. It was around Christmas 2020. And I actually can't say how much weight I'd lost. So I'm now 19.5 pounds down. I think it was a bit less than that. I think it was about 15, 16 pounds down, which suggests that when I started Mounjaro, I was a little bit heavier than when I started Noom in 2020. I reached Christmas 2020 and started treating myself a bit. I went a bit off the wagon. And then I managed to kind of stabilise it slightly for January and into February. And then February 2021 was a tough time for people in Texas. Anyone in Texas who is watching this video knows exactly what I'm talking about. But just for those who perhaps it's not so obvious, we had this big freeze in Texas and our electricity grid collapsed. And we were without electricity for about 5 days, and it was such freezing temperatures, colder than I had ever experienced, even living in Europe, that inside our house it got so cold that we could see our breath in the air. I don't know what the temperature was because my indoor thermometer was geared to my air conditioning heating system and didn't work because of the electricity. So I don't know exactly how cold it got into the house, but it got very, very cold. And it reached a point on about day 5 where we started wondering if we would survive it. It was actually quite a scary experience. And on day 5, our electricity came back up, which just at the time felt like a miracle. And then afterwards, we all found out that actually we were really, really close to the grid going down for a long period of time. And I genuinely don't know what would have happened if it had got that bad. But that week, that 5 days, I'd been stabilising it and trying to get back on track after Christmas for like sort of 6-7 weeks. And that just tipped it for me. And I went completely off of doing Noom, and the stress or upset or trauma or whatever I went through that week just was really, too much. And I then couldn't concentrate on the diet, and my hunger just completely took over. And I thought about it and I looked back, and I thought that every time I've managed or tried to lose weight in the past, similar things have happened. Something tips me to just fall off the wagon, really. Whether it's something that I would consider traumatic, or whether it is something that is actually more fun, like I went on vacation and I ate a lot and that was it, I couldn't go back to it. Or, I'm a weak person, I guess. I don't know. I have lots of stories over the years of my successes, and then my failures. And also when I look back at past weights, I look back on times when I thought I was big. The times I was embarrassed in my swimming suit on the beach, and really I needn't have been. So there's lots of times you can pinpoint weight in your life to an event. Maybe even like remembering the event and thinking, that was the event I tried to lose weight for, or that was the event that triggered my weight gain, or that was the event I had an unrealistic perception of my weight, or, that was the event I struggled to purchase an outfit for. We all have these things. And for this episode, I've called those the ghosts of weights gone by. Just a very interesting observation on the same topic. Well, not so much ghosts, but weight and weight over the years. Melissa H., who is a great contributor to the comments on my videos, and not only my videos, she's very busy on all the Mounjaro videos and always has a really valid input. So thank you, Melissa. Last week, when I mentioned that my weight had stayed the same, she asked if it was a weight I had been at for some time in the past, and came up with a theory that perhaps your body kind of recognises a weight. It becomes like a set point. So when you reach that weight again, your body wants to sit there for a while. I thought that was a really interesting point, and I was going to discuss having reached the the same weight that I was when I did Noom today. So I thought I would add that in the mix as well, you know, just as food for thought on the matter. No pun intended, mentioning food. And she was right, because it was the weight I sat at for a while with Noom. In actual fact, after we had our big freeze in Texas, I did keep the weight for a little while, but I kind of knew I was losing it then. So I was probably at the Noom weight, I call it, for a good few months. Yeah, so the ghosts. I decided I'm going to share some pictures of myself throughout the years. And I tried to look for thin photos and fat photos, and you know, I think I've added some photos of me when I had a newborn baby, which was a big trigger for me with weight loss. You will not be surprised to hear that I do not have photos of myself at my fattest. Who does? But anyway, I'm sharing these photos today for my Halloween special. So enjoy my photos. They are coming now. Well, thank you for watching and indulging in my bit of Halloween fun this week. Next week I will be back to normal with my normal weekly update. And have a great week. Have a successful week. And I will be back sharing my news next week. Bye-bye.